everyone. We're so glad that you're here with us. I'm here with Sandy and Jonathan, and we are going to talk teaching with heart today. We thought went well with the month of February, and we're getting ready to come up on all the standardized testing season and really keeping that joy and remembering why we got into the profession to begin with. So I will kick it off talking about affirmations. So I came across, and this will be linked in our slides, I came across this morning affirmations for kids video early last school year. And I showed it to the kids in class. And I don't, you never know if they're going to think something's cheesy or they're really going to like it. And it's just like a 3-minute video where, it says, I am filled with love. And then the kids repeat it, I am filled with love. And everyone was participating by the end, and they said, "Can we play it one more time?" So we played it one more time, and then it was totally their idea. They said, "How about before anything big, like a test, a quiz, something that we're getting nervous about, we play this, and as a group, we're reminded that we're important and we're intelligent and we can do this," because we talk so much about our own mindset as a teacher. And I think it's really important to engage the kids in the mindset that, we can't control everything, but we can control our mindset about things. And so, anyway, I love this. And a little side note to add to this, I got to see some of my former students, they're fifth graders now, and they were preparing for the final battle of the books competition. So I was telling them good luck. And they had this pulled up on their computer screen. A year later, they said, "We go back to this. We have it bookmarked because it does inspire us and it gets our mind right." And so you just never know. When you share these little things in class, how they're going to stick with the kids and really stick with you as well. So, moving on to the second thing, I was thinking about inspirational messages and what they mean to us. I'm a quote person. I try to find a quote to fit every situation. Handwritten notes and how important those still are. And so, a couple years ago, I started printing, and some of these quotes on the screen are quotes that I printed, just small little copies of them, and I would put them, in the student's library book, or I would stick it in their desk, and I wouldn't say anything about it. And I would just wait for the kids to find them, and then they'd all figure out that they had a different quote or they had something. And I just said, "Hey, we all need sometimes the encouraging words. So keep this with you and read it whenever it helps." And so then I would notice the kids would be writing and making up their own inspirational messages and leaving them on each other's desks. And then I would hear from parents that their students were writing notes to them and putting them in their work bag or their lunch bag. And so it just really caught on. So for the last couple of years, I would also write the kids' notes before they went to take iLearn because I taught fourth grade. And every day we would leave a different little note with, you were meant to do well, a little meant, like so many teachers do. But these mean more than we even think. And so I would find these notes taped to the side of the kids' desks all throughout testing. They would tape them to the sides. We also reached out to parents and said, "Would you like to write your child an encouraging message? They can read it every day before I learn. They can read it any day." And then they would have these taped around their desk as well, or kind of slid in their desk. And then as teachers, not everybody can get notes back from home. So we would write our own notes and stick them in and give those to the students so everybody had a note. So I just think about how that makes us feel when we get that encouraging email or we get a nice handwritten message from someone, and how it really does make a difference for students as well. Something else fun that I did want to share. Yard signs are like all the thing, all the rage. And so I started last year. I just created my own sign. I created the graphic in Canva and then found a company that would print the signs pretty cheap. And it's hard to read, but it basically says like, "My teacher thinks I'm amazing. I'm an inventor and I'm going to change the world," and all of those things. And so I would start the year and I would have all the names, you know, in a hat, and the kids wouldn't know who was going to be pulled that day. And I would end the day with telling a special story about that student, and then they would get their sign and they'd get to keep it forever. Because I didn't need the signs back. But another way, when I travel around the community, I see these signs in the kids' yard and how proud they are. And also, it helps them know just how proud I am of them outside of school as well. So, just one more way that we can inspire our students even beyond the classroom. And then something else that was an idea that I used, it started out as this undercover agent of kindness. I would have the kids adopt like a classmate, a peer, and they would do nice things for their peer for the month of November, or the month of February, whenever we're focusing on the thankfulness or the kindness. And they would, leave special notes or maybe a small piece of candy or something, and then it grew, and the kids wanted to adopt a staff member. So I got a list of all the staff members, and the kids were able to pick the staff member that they wanted to do some undercover acts of kindness for. And then we had this, some were making pictures or filming videos on Flip and sending QR codes. And then we had this big reveal at the end because the teachers didn't know until the end who their kind of secret kindness student was. But at the end, we went through and took pictures of everyone getting to meet with their teacher to reveal themselves. And I just think that, it didn't take a lot of class time. It didn't take a lot from the students' end or my end, but I think it really did impact the staff. It was right around this time of year when we were getting ready to get into testing. And I also love this quote. So I printed this quote out for all the kids, and then they all wanted to pass it on to all of their the teachers that they had adopted, but saying that kindness is, sorry, loaning someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. And so I love that. And that actually just became a poster in our classroom after all of this. So, anyway, I love talking about things like this and sharing these ideas. And I can't wait to learn from Jonathan and Sandy as they share their ideas as well for teaching with heart.
Thank you, Karisa. I loved all of those ideas so much. I loved the affirmations. In my fourth grade classroom, we had a big mirror, and we'd walk in and we'd high five ourselves in the mirror every morning, just to be like, we've got this and we're in this together. So it was great to hear that from you. I just wanted to share first an article with everyone called Can We Still Find Joy in Teaching? It's a really great article that goes through 5 different ways to just really look for the joy in what we're doing. January and February are really tough months, and they always are. And I'm always brutally reminded at the end of February how tough January and February are. So there were 3 big takeaways for me as I was reading this article, but I would definitely recommend reading it on your own. The first one is just taking time to feel the joy. I think a lot of times we don't sit with the joy that we have. Something joyful might happen, and we're so busy in our teacher lives that we've got to move on to the next thing. And just taking some time to just relish and enjoy that joy is really, really important. Also thinking of joy as a place and not a transaction. So they give the example in the article of like, I'll be really happy when 80% of my kids can be proficient on iLearn. Well, that is a really lofty goal, and that's a lot to just put like you're only going to have joy if that one thing happens. So looking for the things in between that destination so that you can find joy in the journey that you're taking throughout your career. And then lastly, celebrating the joy in others. This wasn't necessarily in the article, but it's one of my favorite things to ask people when I get to know them. And it's, what would you like me to ask about to make you find joy? And so a lot of times I can tell, like when I'm in the hallway with someone, that they're having a rough day, and I know that they love talking about their Jeep and what they do in the Jeep over the weekend, because the adventures that they'll have in it. And so making sure that I just straight up ask people, what brings you joy? And sometimes it is school and sometimes it's not. And then that gives me a great connection point to make them smile in their day about something that I know they really love and enjoy. The next thing is something we've started at our district actually at the beginning of January, and it's called a Gathering Glimmers group chat. And it came from an idea a teacher, actually a grade level chair in our district, had sent a message to her team and said, I really want to challenge you to look for the glimmers that you have throughout these months as they're really hard. And from that just email that was sent and I was CC'd on, I was like, well, let's make a Gathering Glimmers group chat in our district. So we're using Google Chat, and voluntarily, people were able to sign up for our Gathering Glimmers group chat, and we just put small wins, small glimmers throughout our day that are personal and professional. And so here's a couple from the group chat that we've had come in. It's really fun, and we use Google Gmail. So like you can put reactions, like the cannon emoji afterwards. And so we're just kind of celebrating these things together. And it's been really fun to not. I mean, there's so many triggers in our day, and now we're searching for the glimmers instead. And I think that brings a lot of joy to people, and we're able to marvel in each other's wins and have fun with that. So the first one was just about a student that was working during some intervention block time and really helping another student next to them by getting all the sounds out and blending CBC words. One teacher was sharing about a student that had gone to the dentist for the first time because we had a mobile dentist come to our schools. And so it was really exciting for that student to have that opportunity. And then the last one is one I might be late to the party on this, but I didn't know Canva had such a great translation tool until recently. So I was using that and sharing that with everyone. And then the last thing that we've started is it's called MSDSC Secret Celebrator. And this is something through Autocrat. And I've linked a video in the one pager, and you can click on it inside here in the presentation. If you click the tutorial, it'll take you step by step of how to get this started. But we just launched this like a week or two ago, and how it works is anybody in our district can fill out a Google form and share a teacher's email and their name and why they appreciate them so much. And it will automatically send them a certificate anonymously, sharing exactly why they're so amazing for our district. And we've had this going for about 2 weeks, and we're a pretty small district, and we have over 100 that have gone out throughout the district. So we're really excited about this. And I actually received one, so I wanted to share that with you guys. It was really, really cool to get that message from someone. And it also is making me want to figure out who actually sent that message. So I wanted to share that with all of you. And that's all I have. And I'm going to turn over to Sandy. We're excited to hear your ideas as well.
Oh, I love all of these ideas so much. Karisa, I just was thinking with that morning affirmation, we know testing is coming up, and the idea of playing that before testing every single day, that can just shift their thinking right away. That can just get them out of that headspace of what they had at home and remind them that I'm good enough and I can do this and I can rock this test. And Jonathan, I have to tell you, when you said what I can ask you to bring you joy, when you said that, I immediately smiled because I automatically thought about my daughter. So you did that for me, and thank you. And I love that idea of just being able to let somebody share that, just give them that 5 seconds to share my daughter this morning. So those were awesome ideas. And I'm going to jump into some of those again. My first couple are just reminders on how we can keep our joy right now and what we can do to kind of follow along with what Chris and Jonathan were saying about, this is such a tough time of year. So how can we lift each other up? And this first one, it's actually an award that I came across that the students nominated teachers for, kind of like what Carissa was doing. But this is a quarterly award that they created, and the kiddos nominated the teacher. And what I like that goes along with this, it's a YouTube video. It's just a short clip. But just listening to the students talk about why they selected this teacher and putting it out there. They put it on their morning announcements. They obviously put it on YouTube. They put it on their website, and just really hearing what kids value teaching with heart might look like. So taking that initiative, being that person this time of year to go ahead and create the award, explain to your staff, we're going to do this from now until the end of the year to lift each other up. Maybe we're going to do once a month. And one of the things that one of the kiddos said in the video was really about, they love her because she balances a safe place and keeping expectations with bringing the fun. So I think that's a good reminder for us this time of year as well, that we need to keep our expectations. We need to keep those classroom expectations and manage our classroom, but you can still do that and have fun. So we're in a headspace sometimes right now where we are overwhelmed. February, March, we're all counting down the days until spring break, but let's not forget, keep the expectations, pair them with the fun. And that's what kids really love. And I think one thing that the teacher said in this video that really, stuck with me, that I hope as well, is like remembering it doesn't come down to content. Yes, we need our kids to learn. Yes, we need them to know the standards. Yes, we want them to perform on the standardized tests. But she said, it really comes down to getting to know the kids, because she said at the end of the day, when they are 30 and they see her on the street, they want her, she wants them to remember her for what she did, not what she taught, or how she taught it, not what she taught. And so I think that's just a good reminder. Make sure you click on that pink Teaching with the Heart, and that'll show you the video. It's just a really cool little clip. All right, Jonathan. So my next one, this is Miss Walker, and I came across this. This is a series for teachers, but it's a 40-minute video. It's a longer clip. But I sat there and I just kind of was in awe of her and the things that she was saying. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and then we're going to watch a clip. One of the things that I'm going to start us with is, what do we do when things aren't great? How do we handle when things aren't great? And, Jonathan, let's go ahead and start the video now.
Write poetry. Bring that passion into your classroom, because it's going to bring a smile to your face. Sometimes being a teacher, you have a million reasons to go and maybe one reason to stay, like the Lady Gaga song. You're giving me a million reasons to let you go. You're giving me a million reasons to quit the show. You're giving me a million reasons, about a million reasons, giving me a million reasons, about a million reasons. If I had a highway, I would run for the hills. If you had a dry way, I would forever be still. But you're giving me a million reasons, about a million reasons, giving me a million reasons, about a million reasons. I bow down to pray, try to make the worst seem better. Lord, show me the way to cut through all this worn out leather. I got about a million reasons to walk away, but baby, I just need one good one to stay. What's your one good reason? We have a million reasons.
That was just so powerful to me to think about. We are thrown a million reasons every day to walk away. And as she said, you've given me a million reasons to walk away, but you just need that one to stay. And so what is that one reason that brings you joy and passion and excitement? For me, it's the kids. It's always the kids. Whether they are giving me hurdles that day or whether they are rocking it. It's just no matter what, it's the kids. But maybe it's a colleague. Maybe it's a colleague you've connected to. Maybe it's the curriculum. Maybe you love curriculum and that's your reason to stay and you want kids to learn, or it's books, or just really think about that one reason, like Karisa and Jonathan both were saying, that brings you the joy. So when you have those tough days, you get a million of them. We get a million reasons as educators to say, no, I'm going to walk away. But find that one that's going to make you stay. And I just, hearing her sing that, this is a powerful video. The other thing that we caught at the beginning is bring your passion to the classroom. I always told my kids, I will do lots of things in the classroom, but I will not draw and I will not sing, because I'm not an artist and I'm not a singer. But if you want me to dance, we will dance all day long to all the things we're learning. The number of dances I did in my classroom, because I love to dance, I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. And it brought me joy and it brought them joy. So find that passion to bring into your classroom, whether it is drawing, maybe the guitar, maybe you are great at poetry, rapping, bring it to the classroom. A couple of other things she mentions later on is just remember again that the kiddos need you and you need them too. Even on those tough days, you need them. And then she did a study. She talks about his study, and I just wanted to finish this section with a couple of reminders. Of this study, they did a study of adults. 83% of these adults said that teachers were their role models. Now, remember, these are adults. So, as kids, they don't tell us, but it circles back. 87% wished they had thanked their teacher or teachers. So, in your head, when you're thinking, oh, these kids never thank me for all of this hard work I do, they will. They'll realize it eventually. And then 88% said teachers had a huge influence on their life. So, and I can think of a teacher for every single one of those roles. So, what are you going to do to keep teaching with the heart and be one of those teachers that when your kiddos turn into an adult, they're remembering this teacher was a role model for me, and I wish so much I thanked them. And you know what? They'll find a way. All right, Jonathan, we're going to pop over to my last slide. And this one is really about how do we help our English language learners with remembering their heart as they're teaching. So I kind of shifted on this one because I wanted us to think about SEL. We have talked a lot about SEL and how do we make sure we're supporting the whole child. Well, one of the things that's tricky when we talk about SEL is supporting our English language learners, because remember, they're developing their language and developing their English skills. And then we're also adding this layer on of how do we help them understand their mindset and building relationships and all those things. So this article was really great because it wants you to think about 4 different pieces to help bring SEL into your into your EL learners curriculum, basically. So one of the things is use your visual aids, just like we would do when teaching any English language learner, using charts and graphs to see the steps that they need to meet the goals, whatever their goal might be, maybe building that relationship with a kiddo, using those to pull it in together. Another one is, as for any kiddo, build their confidence. SEL helps to build that self and social awareness. Thinking about having those tough conversations that we throw out to our kids sometimes with SEL, but having your ELL learners do it one-to-one first, or do it with you first before we expect them to get in a large group and talk about feelings or situations or scenarios. Keep it small, because that pressure to talk in front of your peers is so heavy sometimes when you're learning the language. So really thinking about that one-to-one. Build those strong relationships. This one really stuck with me. A lot of our SEL conversations can trigger trauma-based responses. And if you think about where many of our EL learners come from, they have experienced trauma in the past. And so we need to think about this conversation and how it might trigger trauma with all kids. Don't forget that this is for all kids, but some of our EL learners are coming from refugee camps or coming from, war-stricken areas. And so building that relationship first with you, with your classmates, so that when they hit that point where maybe something is very uncomfortable or where they're feeling emotional, they're not feeling shamed. And last, having them set goals, because learning English, the academics is really hard. So helping them set those SEL goals help to balance the overwhelming of what school can be. So just, again, click on that article. It's really short, but take a look at it and to help you remember how we can balance SEL for our EL learners. All right. That is all we have for you today. This was such an awesome conversation. Karisa, Jonathan, thank you so much for giving us ideas on how we can make it through the next few months. We've got this. Keep your heart teaching from your heart, keep your kids in your heart. We are excited about our next one, navigating testing season. Yay, it's here. WIDA's going on right now. So thank you so much. Make sure that you fill out the QR code to give us feedback, and follow Keep Indiana Learning on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on the Facebook page, and we are excited to see you next time. Scan our QR codes to join us again, and we'll see you next month. Bye, everyone. Thank you.